Good morning. My name is Kenesha Mills, and I teach 8th grade U.S. history at Rose L. Hardy Middle School in DC Public Schools. Today I will be discussing with you the distance learning plan for weeks 8 and 9. The key question of this unit is, can this divided house stand? For the next 2 weeks, you will investigate key events and points during the Civil War and Reconstruction. The key focus of this divided house will be two key issues during the United States in the 19th century. One, the issue of slavery in the Civil War, and two, the issue of equality in the Reconstruction era. You will use all of these sources to complete a task at the end of the next 2 weeks, answering the key question, can this divided house stand? The first supporting question is, how did the Union win the Civil War? In order to answer this question, you will look at key dates as well as events from 1860 to 1865 in the Civil War. This is known as Source A, or the Civil War timeline, which will tell you key events in the presidency of Abraham Lincoln, developments within the Republican Party, as well as several states seceding from the Union. Also, in order to answer the supporting question, how did the Union win the Civil War, you will read one of the foundational documents of this time period, Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. During this close reading, you will be asked to analyze some of his words that talked about the events at Gettysburg as well as the path forward. The next supporting question will ask you, how did the Constitution change after the Civil War? Source E, which deals with Reconstruction and radical Republicans, will deal with the 13th Amendment, or the outlawing of slavery, the 14th Amendment, the erasure of the Three-Fifths Compromise, as well as changes in the Confederacy and the Union, and the unification after the Civil War. Also, in order to understand how the Constitution changed after the Civil War, it is important to note the 15th Amendment, which guaranteed voting rights to African Americans. This is an important time period in our history because this year is actually the 150-year anniversary of the 15th Amendment. The third and last supporting question will ask you, what were the successes and failures of the Reconstruction era? You will be asked to look at Source G, which specifically outlines changes in the newly reunited United States during the election of 1876 by analyzing the electoral vote as well as the popular vote. Also, you will need to investigate what happened with the Compromise of 1877. Finally, in terms of answering the last supporting question, what were the successes and failures of the Reconstruction era? It is important to look at one of the most controversial discussions of our era on what should happen, or debates around memorials and Confederate monuments. You will read a series of articles which support or oppose the continuation of Confederate memorials. Then you will use all of the information you've collected on the Civil War, changes to the Constitution, and the Reconstruction era to answer the larger compelling question, can this divided house stand? At the end of the 2 weeks, you will need to write an argumentative essay that outlines at least 2 lessons all Americans should know from Civil War and Reconstruction period of U.S. history. Are there lessons from the Civil War and Reconstruction that still hold true today? And is the United States one united country, or do divisions still permeate our society? Thank you so much, and I hope that you do well, and I wish you the best of luck on this distance learning plan.